Hi everyone, in this part I'll continue to install those tracks on the buggy. I'm also gonna try to make it possible to control them and make a test drive on a snowy field. Behind the scenes I've already sawed the corners of the track links and fixed the bogie on which the central wheels were located to the frame with the bolts. Started my work with the steering. I want to install 2 fluid pressure cylinders on the steering rack to control the tracks with their help. Before that I unscrewed the tie rod ends from it. They need to be fixed rigidly to the frame so that the front wheels can lose the rotation function. Guess I'll fix it in this place. Made some attaching points for the ends from the pipe and a welded nut to it. I wound the tube on the end at once and welded it to the frame. A toe-in adjustment remained on the tie rod end. With its help I set the front wheels parallel to the tracks and the rear wheels. Did the same from the other side. Now for a further work I'll need 2 main clutch cylinders from the rear-wheel drive car. One such thing is already installed in the buggy for clutch. I'll put them outside where the tie rod ends used to be. I'll make a bracket for the cylinder from the shaped tube. It'll be screwed to the lower lever attachment. In order it could get in, I made the saw cuts along the side walls and removed one part for the lever pipe. The cylinder jacks were made of a stud. They will be screwed instead of the tie rod ends. In order to make a hole for the cylinder in the bracket I covered the jack with paint and made a mark of the hole center with it. I drilled a hole with a crown and screwed the cylinder to the bracket. Installed the built-up construction in its place. In order the cylinder cannot deflect under the jack pressure, we need to weld the angle to it and screw it to the frame. By turning of the steering wheel the jack will press the piston will push the brake fluid to the rear support and block the right or the left track depending on to which side the steering wheel is turned. Now we need to join the cylinders with the rear calipers, but first I need to power them from a tank with brake fluid. I pulled the hose out of the brake cylinder of the rear axle and installed a T-joint in it. Now the right and the left cylinders are connected to the tank with the brake fluid. In order to connect the fluid pressure cylinders and the supports I took the brake mains and one tube with 2 unions. They precisely approach the previously installed cylinders. They should be installed instead of the small unions on the brake mains. I did this procedure earlier when I also connected the clutch on the buggy. I even got a mandrel from the last time. I clamped the tube in it and made a socket with a peak at the end. The main is ready and needs to be installed inside the buggy. After that I screwed one end to the cylinder and immediately pumped the tubes, removed all air out of them. Then I screwed them to the rear supports and deflated air out of the entire system, as it usually achieved by the usual brakes purging, only instead of the brake pedal here is the steering wheel. By the way, it shifted a bit, so I leveled it with a simple rearrangement. I raised the buggy to check the board swivel gear. I only connected the rear supports for turning, the front ones were left for the brake. With their help the two tracks become blocked at once. Everything works perfectly on weight. Now we need to check it on the floor under the buggy weight. And again everything works perfectly in turns. Now we can put on the front cover and go outside. It was very cold on the test day, but this couldn't stop me from riding on Buggy with new tracks. I didn't expect it'd be so easy to control the turn. It appeared even easier on the snow ground. I remembered while the final part there was a light snow cover, and the buggy just refused to drive along it, skidded, and was at a stop. This time it goes calmly like a tank. But our fun time wasn't long. Due to the toe and adjustment of the rear wheels, the left track flew off. The bolts couldn't stand due to the stretching of the track and unscrewed. It's not so easy to put the track in place as you need to unscrew and pull it again. I decided to try to remove the wheel, put a track on it, and attach them together to the hub. Hardly managed to put the wheel bolts into the hub and put the wheel in place. I also adjusted the toe-in and screwed those adjustment screws perfectly still. We need to install the bushings for the tracks to remove free riding. The advantage of the steering wheel over the levers is that you can control the turn even with one hand. The only thing is that it shakes quite a lot without shock absorbers, but passability eliminates this drawback. By the way, the buggy can be returned to its original state in just 1 hour by putting on the tracks in winter and the wheels in summer. As a result, we've got a nice all-terrain vehicle. I also want to try to ride on it in the deep snow or attach a blade to it and clean the roads with it. That's all for today. Thanks everyone for your attention. If you like the video, put your thumbs up and subscribe if not yet. See you in the next part.